Liverpool 2, Wolves 1 at Anfield. The gap at the top. Liverpool to Arsenal, back to 7 points. Janusz, not all wins can be pretty, but this was an ugly win that was just as pretty. The way that they got it done didn't matter. But 13 more of those for Liverpool fans? Yeah, that won't be easy. What did you make of this one?
Yeah, I guess, yeah. You should start with the positives. This is the game that I think everyone thought that Liverpool would win, right? At Anfield, they did. Wolves don't fare there very well over the years, and they did. And I guess for me, to some degree, that's where the positives stop. Because as you've said, I mean, big win, 13 games left, so you one closer to winning the title. And I do think that Liverpool are the best team in this league. And I still do think that they're going to win it. Remember, you and I and Stevie were together. He was a little bit on the fence. He was cautious. He was right. I was all guns blazing saying, don't worry about it. They're going to win it no matter what. I do think it, but I worry a little bit for Liverpool because, I don't want to say tale of two halves, but, it was a picnic in the first half. Two goals, nice and easy. Didn't look like Wolves could do anything or harm Liverpool in any way. And then Liverpool, for whatever reasons, invited drama in the second half because it was not just the goal, but Marshall Munetsi, was one-on-one with Alisson. That was a great save. And in the end, Kwanzaa, with a great sliding tackles, prevented Munetsi from scoring, possibly an equalizer. And yes, Liverpool had their chances, had a goal called off, but it was offside, so it's really not a chance and all that. So I'll tell you what, the concentration levels are off just a little bit. And watching this and watching what happened, Mark, in the last few days. Remember when everybody was saying, a blessing in disguise when they went out to Plymouth in the FA Cup? Well, guess what happened next game? Everton, it's 2-2, right? And this game, although won, and that's the most important thing at this stage because Liverpool has shown that they can turn it on and off, but at this stage, you can't be doing that. I honestly think that if I were Van Dijk from my playing days as a captain, I call a players meeting. Just to remind everybody not to take games like these for granted. You got, Aston Villa coming up at midweek. You got Manchester City, both games away from home. And I just think that the concentrations level, the sort of character, the intensity, and just recognizing what this next 2 or 3 games, because Newcastle's coming up, this period means for this club is important. And they just, took the eye off the ball just a little bit, just a little, just a little feeling today, because that today should have been very, very easy. No drama should have been introduced in the second half.
Yeah, I mean, 2-0 and cruising. Liverpool are good enough not to need any extra help, and Wolves defensively in that first half weren't great, were they?
No, they were not. And as I said, it was sort of the game that I said to myself in the first half, that's exactly the sort of game that Liverpool needed after all that drama, the emotion from the Everton game. Nice and easy, 2 early goals. I was thinking, probably 3 or 4. The tempo wasn't great, which I think was good for Liverpool in many ways, having that lead. And it's just one of those that makes you stop just for a second and think that, is it still possible? Of course it is, because everybody's entering some crazy schedule right now.
So good teams find a way. You're not going to perform your best every single week. I just wonder, with the way that the Everton game finished and conceding late, do you think those nerves, do you even think a 2-0 lead, which became 2-1 today, didn't become 2-2? Do you think that would have happened? Do you think there would have been more focus if they had not had that slip up at Everton? As a professional who played the game, is that a mental thing that you're talking about the concentration? And would it have happened had they not have slipped up against Everton?
No, but I think, here's how the mentality goes, because at that stage against the city rival, you win it, right? I mean, it's a win. It's 2 extra points. It's 9. We can talk about the difference, which is massive, of course, 2 points at this stage. But I think there's something about, look, I mean, Liverpool coming into the season, 0 expectations, right? I mean, everything they've done now it's amazing, with a new manager that follows a legend in Jurgen Klopp and all that. We were talking Manchester City and Arsenal before the season. And now that it's almost there, I don't care how experienced you are, but this team mentally is probably now kind of recognizing where they are. and what they can achieve when they didn't expect that, right? I mean, players will always tell you, yeah, we're Liverpool, we're always there to win the league and all that, right? But those were not the thoughts. So I just think that, you know, I don't want to say it's better to have a 1 or 2 or 3 point lead, but, you know, your concentration levels are different. You treat every game as if it was your last.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that, you know, just today, because against Everton, they did a great job for 90, whatever, 95 minutes. But I think dropping the points there today, they won't think too much about it, because ultimately they got the 3 points and Villa and City come up close. So they'll put that game aside. But I think the key players like Arne Slot, Van Dijk, maybe even, you know, Salah, the experienced players, will want to make sure that what happened in that second half, it wasn't just the goal, but the sloppiness. I mean, terrible passes, bad decisions, dangerous decisions that could have brought, you know, Wolves a goal. I think we need to talk about that. I mean, or they need to talk about that.
Well, why don't we talk about it? Because there were a few changes at halftime at the start of the second half, and also as the second half wore on. Obviously, Konaté's on a booking, so Quansah comes on for him. But it's more the Wolves changes. And look, they're 2-0 down. They've got nothing to lose. They started to play a bit. They started to believe. And that goal was at a good time for them, for Matheus Cunha. So yes, they've come back into the game. But what did Liverpool do to allow Wolves back into the game?
As I've said, I think it was just sloppy. I mean, you know, the extra passes or the square passes that were there, you know, you're trying to maybe overthink it and make a pass that you know is dangerous. Sometimes you have to make, but not at a moment where you're totally controlling the game. So they didn't need to go after it, right? And you know, so I just think that, you know, it's one of those games that many of us have been in, that you kind of think that you've won already, right? It's almost too easy, where, you know, in this league that it's never too easy. All it takes is that one time when you give life or belief to the opponent as well. So I just don't think that they finished the game, right? They, you know, I don't think they've managed it properly, because, you know, possession was very, very important. Maybe that third goal would have, of course, solved it, but it was just one of those that, at least in my mind, and I hope I'm not making too much of it, just kind of made it so I feel a little uncomfortable, because that 7-point lead, you know, can quickly change. I mean, look at I mean, it's Villa away and Manchester City away. I know Arsenal have some difficult games, and we're really talking about just 2 teams, or one team that's capable of catching Liverpool at this stage, which is Arsenal. And they themselves have West Ham and Forest away. I think Man United away, Chelsea home. So it's not going to be easy. But now is not the time to lose discipline and concentration. And that's how I would describe Liverpool in the second half.
Yeah, that's fair. And the fact that it's Villa and Manchester City coming up, and Newcastle around the corner as well, the fact that they're tough games, and the fact that focus and decision-making and everything that goes around playing the top sides, might that not be a bad thing for Liverpool? Because, as you say, Wolves at home, how many is it going to be? You're expected to win. There shouldn't be any issue with focus for the games coming up for Liverpool now.
No, and yeah, you're quite right. I mean, you don't have to worry about that. I mentioned that meeting. I mean, the meeting just to remind players, not to get them in focus, because the game themselves, when you play Villa away in City, players, you know, the antennas are going to be up, no questions about that. And again, I mean, this is the most talented, the best team in the league. And I do want to say by far at this moment, given some of the, injuries that Arsenal has had, and Manchester City, the season they've had. So I have zero doubt about that. And I continue to say that Liverpool are going to finish champions here. But, you know, it's games like these that when it's so easy, or it seems so easy, worry you the most, right? How many times have teams lost points to lower teams that are very, very costly when it's all said and done?
Look, any race is tough, especially when you're a front runner. But that finishing line and getting there first is tougher, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, look, I mean, players do get nervous. Everybody gets a little bit nervous when it comes to that, and then it's a human nature, and the margins are so small in this league in particular, as we've said it. So, I mean, look, Wolves were fighting for survival. You knew that they weren't going to just give up. I think if you look at Liverpool, they have a healthy squad. Today they were able to substitute, and that changes things a little bit, because even it seems like Slot kind of was looking ahead of Villa and Manchester City. Konate had to come off. By the way, I didn't think there was a second yellow card at all, because I see that many are asking for it, that he was lucky in a way. I don't think so. I mean, let's not start here sending players off for what in my mind is just a simple foul, and that's exactly what that was. But it was smart for Slot to substitute him at halftime.
Careless is a foul, reckless is a yellow card, using excessive force is a red. It was a careless challenge, and just because he was on a yellow, you can understand Wolves wanting him sent off, but he stayed on the park until halftime and then was replaced by Jarell Quansah. What about the times?
And to be fair to both sides, the penalty that was called initially on Diogo Jota was rightfully turned away, and
should have been a card for Jota.
And Jota should have gotten a yellow card for diving. Simple as that.
So Liverpool win this one by 2-1, maybe closer than they would have liked, or certainly no maybe about it. Definitely was closer than they would have liked. But unlike at Goodison Park in the final Merseyside derby there, when they conceded late on when they had a 2-1 lead, they maintained the lead, they got all 3 points, and they've got a 7-point lead at the top of the table. It's theirs to lose with 13 games to go. Bye for now.